So, hey Gemini, my name is Chris, and this is the 2026 Whenever You Find It reading, kind of. There is the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups, right? Beautiful frequencies. Emotional maturity and total maturity when it comes to your passion. You're no longer suffering for your passion. You're no longer suffering with your emotions. You accept yourself, you accept your own emotions, and you accept your own passions, and you just create from that joyfully, not suffering from it, joyful. So this is mastership, inner mastership of your emotions, inner mastership of your passions, and especially the Queen of Wands has a very creative aspect to it, right? With your subconsciousness in alignment. There's your the Page of Cups shows up all the freaking time. Do what you love. If you want to get something out in 2026, right? If you want to lay the foundation for a new chapter in your life, do what you love. That's very, very important. Don't just do, again, question mark, what looks good on paper, what pays the highest, or what promises to be the best paying job or something like that. Do what you love. Even if it is unexpected, even if it is not what mommy and daddy had in mind for you, there's this little fish lurking out with the Page of Cups, right? From that cup, who would have expected that, right? Unexpected, emotional, it makes sense to you. Do that. Do what you love. This is going to pay off, right? Six of Pentacles. If you have given a lot, it's time to receive. If you have received a lot, it's time to give, maybe. Slow and steady wins the race. There's the Knight of Pentacles and the Six of Swords. Gliding over to something else, and whatever new you're doing, you're taking something from the old chapter with you in 2026. So you're not just completely doing just that. So it's more like a balance between super practicality, maybe something you have already done in a different form maybe, but not just that, or not just joyful creation, not just doing what you love, even if it's writing a book, right? Writing a poem, painting a painting. It doesn't need to be the next Rembrandt or whatever. Just paint your painting, write your poem, write your book if it's that what you want to do. And if nobody reads it, right? If that is what you love to do, if it makes sense to you, if you enjoy it while you're doing it, joyful creation, right? Emotional awareness, joyful creation. If that makes sense to you, then by all means do it, and don't be so much concerned about the outcome. Don't be so much concerned about external validation. And then there's something very practical, down to earth, Pentacles, energy. Maybe it's a job that pays the bills, and on the side you're doing something that makes sense to you, that you truly love to do. And you know, even if I say this again and again, right? I'm doing this YouTube channel, we're 200 something people now. Yay, I'm super happy for that. But you know, it's a small channel, and I'm not making any money with this or anything, right? But I do it and I love to do it, and this is my Page of Cups thing, right? And there is a job, right? There's a day job, something like that, that you do for practicality reasons, slow and steady. And maybe you can transition from that to giving that what you do, what you love to do, more energy. I think that's how it makes sense here. With this combination from the Knight of Pentacles, Six of Swords, slow transition, giving that what you love more energy without negating the practicality aspect of it. What do we got? The Lovers. Oh, the Lovers and the Knight of Wands. Oh God. Oh my Gemini, are we going to having an affair? You know, there's the player energy with the Knight of Wands. Be a little careful here in 2026, I would say. Maybe there's a new love. Maybe there's a summer romance on the horizon, something like that with the lovers. Be playful, but be wise about it. Do not fall for too, you know, it's not so much not everybody who looks good is a good person, right? Not everybody who is making you laugh is actually a decent character. So be careful with that. There's the Six of Wands. Never lose the connection to your subconsciousness. Never lose the connection to your intuition, your gut feeling. If your gut tells you something is off here, you know, that might be the most charming person ever. Actually, being too nice, too charming is, you know, that's an alarm bell. If somebody is too nice, if somebody is just telling you stuff, I met someone the other day, right? And I think we were standing there and he was pretty much talking for 10 minutes and he was full of shit, right? He was full of shit. He gave me his telephone number and email address and even his name on a piece of paper. And I just thought, I mean, I wasn't rude, you know, I wasn't saying, oh, you're full of shit. Don't ever talk to, no, don't call out idiots, right? That's not a good idea. And I was just standing there and just, how far are you going with this, right? So, and he was talking and he was contradicting himself and he was a shit show. But I just thought, wow, so much energy for what, you know? And he was complete amateur. So, but he was obviously not genuine, right? But sometimes they're really good in what they're doing, right? And they're really, they look good, they might be charming, they might not contradict themselves, they might actually say the good things that you want to hear, you know, and that in itself, if it's just too nice, if it's full of contradiction and full of BS, then you just lean back and say, yeah, whatever, or just end the conversation and be gone, right? Or if you feel like it, but I wouldn't recommend it because it can be dangerous, you can just see how far they go, you know, and just sit there and listen for a while just to learn how BS, how much shit they're full of, right? But, you know, I'm not recommending this. The successful thing here to do whenever you are going into the world in 2026 where it's like kind of the end of Lord of the Rings, you know, when Frodo and Sam and the others riding back to the Shire and everybody's super grumpy and everything looks run down, and you know, it's like that in 2026, right? So careful in 2026. I don't want to piss on your parade with the lovers here and the joyful player energy of the Knight of Wands, but a player energy in 2026 is a red flag. So be careful with that. Don't deny it to yourself, but be very careful. That would be my advice. The success story here is trusting your gut feeling, trusting your inner voice, never losing the connection to your subconsciousness, and you cultivating that connection every day. It's a daily habit through meditation and breathwork. 10 seconds in, 20 seconds out, 8 seconds in, 16 seconds out, 7 seconds in, 14 seconds out. You get the idea. The out breath should be 2 times that of the in breath. Stabilizes yourself, releases negativity, and whenever you encounter toxic, narcissistic people, you can actually rest within yourself and not fall for their triggers and BS. Never defend, never explain, never engage, right? I did that, but you should not engage, actually. I did that, but very aware that I was doing it because I really wanted to see, okay, what else does he got, right? So, how far does he take it? But, I'm not recommending that. Don't do that. So be careful with that, lovers. 6, 8, 2 more. There's the Nine of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune. And 6 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, that's a good energy. So what we'd have here on the table, Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck. The Page of Cups is here. Do what you love. In 2026, we're all laying the foundation for pretty much the next 20 years. So do what you love, but don't just do what you love. Don't run around, quit your job and you live in the mountains or something like that. Don't do that, right? Be practical about it. Be smart about it. You need to pay your bills. You need a roof over your head. You need to be smart about it. That's definitely the energy of the Knight of Pentacles. So steadiness, protect your seedlings, protect what you have, and work with that continuously. But make sure that you carve out space in your life every day, not just on the weekend. It should really be a plan for you. This is emphasized by the Knight of Cups, right? From the Page to the Knight of Cups, giving that what you love more energy from the Page to the Knight. And then you bring it into a balance. You get the Knight of Pentacles and you're going to the Knight of Cups, but you're not negating one of these two aspects. You keep them in a balance, and this is the transition work in 2026, I would say, or a big aspect, a big chunk of it, if you're focusing on that right now. The best way to do it, not being triggered by outside stimuli. If somebody is trying to trigger you, if somebody is trying to test you, how you might react. If I bring up this topic, maybe you feel ashamed of that. Maybe you're gay. Maybe you're this. Maybe you're trans, and maybe you feel insecure about it. Narcissistic people always try to test you. They make little remarks and make little, this and that. And if you react, if you take the bait of them, right, reacting to it, then they know, that's where I can dig deeper. And this was exactly what this person was doing also, right? And it was just interesting. He was not very good at it, but it was interesting to see how he was doing that. And as I said, don't test that, don't engage with these people, but emotional stability, emotional awareness, and knowing your own passions. That's water energy, that's your emotions, that's inner mastership of your fire aspects. Not getting angry, not calling them out, not defending yourself, not engaging, not explaining, not personalizing. Very, very important. Inner mastership of your emotions and of your passions. And the success story here is continuous daily habit. Make it a daily habit to cultivate that through breathwork, through meditation. This is your victory march by maintaining the connection to your subconsciousness and not just being in your head, but being smart about it and being informed with your gut feelings, with your intuitions, with your subconsciousness, with your feelings, and with your passion as well. But you rule your passion. And if you are ruling your passion, you can deal with that. And that's a good combination, right? That's a fantastic combination. They're wonderful, joyful players out there. And by all means, you can be a little playful, but be smart about it. Trust your gut feeling. Don't get carried away with it, and don't fall in love too easily in 2026, even if it's just a summer affair. So working with your subconsciousness, breathwork meditation on a daily basis gives you the stability for dealing with the world as it is, full of narcissists as it is. and maybe even finding love in that strange world that we live in, right? But not being carried away by your passion or your emotions, but being smart about it, right? Ruling them. Inner mastership. These are the queens, the inner mastership of your emotions, not being carried away, even if it looks so good, right? And it sounds so good. And it's exactly what you want to hear. And it's so good. Oh my God, that's all I wanted. That's a red flag, actually. If it's too good, that's a red flag. That's that story. And then this balance between practical stuff, what pays the bills, and what you actually love to do. And that what you love to do, even if you don't get anything out of it. With this YouTube channel, we're over 200 people now. Yay. I'm super happy. But it's a small channel. So that's not getting me anything, right? But I like to do it, and maybe we can grow, maybe we can go from 200 to, I don't know what this Knight of Cups is all about, but giving that which you love more attention, right? So that you can have a balance between what you have to do in order to pay your bills and to be practical and just be smart about what you need to do, your necessities, so to speak, and then you got the Knight of Cups, and you're building that Page of Cups into a Knight of Cups so that it's kind of even more balanced between what you need to do and what you love to do. And if you do that, that is kind of your work in 2026 whenever you find it. Wheel of Fortune is here. This balance, there's a balance here between fire and water, Cups and Wands energy, Pentacles and Cups energy. Keeping it in a balance seems to be a big topic here. And if you have given a lot, it's time to receive. If you have received a lot, it's time to give. And there seem to be some low-hanging fruits here, so some work to do, and you get some results fast. Whatever that means, whoever needs to hear that. So I'm doing one Blue Angel Oracle card. Yeah, deck card. That's Lunar, Spirit, that's 22. Emotional healing, okay. In the days leading up to the next full moon, you may feel unusually emotional for no apparent reason. You're experiencing an emotional healing, the release of unexpressed emotions that you have kept locked inside for a long time. Perhaps you had forgotten these feelings existed, so they have come to remind you. Let them go and you shall be healed. There's nothing you need to do or work to. Just allow your emotions to surface without trying to suppress them. Allow all to unfold as it will and trust it is a blessing. You will enjoy the benefits of this emotional release for years to come. Okay, that also means, when we talk about the queens here, fire aspect, that's what you rule, and you rule your emotions. But ruling your emotions in the sense of the Queen of Cups does not mean that you suppress your emotions. You don't lash out to people, even if somebody gives you a cock and bull story and you just think, how much BS can a person produce? But, don't call them out. Don't get angry. That means to be in charge of your own fire, not lashing out, not getting angry, not calling them out or whatever, but also not being, not taking it personal, right? Not internalizing it. And if inner feelings come up of whatever you've been through in the last 9 years, maybe since 2008, allow that to be, right? And allow that to heal, be yourself a friend. Never suppress your own emotions. I mean, if you're at home, if you're in private, if you meditate, you just feel what you feel and you can cry. If you need to cry, you can, that's okay. But just be a friend to yourself, right? Allow healing to happen. Breathwork meditation is super important. What else we got? Love is all around. There's the Lovers and there's Nightingale spirit. Okay, so love is all around. Let's just see. Be careful. Be smart about it if you meet someone. And maybe in 2026, love is all around. Nightingale spirit, the Lovers, the playful player. Be a little careful with the players, right? Not just in 2026, but in general, Knight of Wands. And maybe that's you. Maybe you want to be a little playful in this regard. Be smart about it, right? And don't get carried away with your emotions or your passions. And that's all I got. And I hope it resonates with you. Share, like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think about it. And hopefully see you next time. I hope that.